Guys, hello from Kyiv. Misha and I came to our usual place near Michael's Monastery and decided to sit in the park and do this video. Today we have an important day with meetings in Saudi Arabia. It's happened right now, and also in the morning I was surprised by news that we massively attacked Moscow and Moscow region by Ukrainian drones. It was over 300 drones, and that is the only way how we can defeat Russia economy and defeat militarily and target their oil refinery and gas places, because negotiations with Putin is impossible. As I mentioned in my last videos, that he wouldn't stop. He just will sit in his bunker and continue to capture as small land as possible. And he wants all of Ukraine, and not only Ukraine, that as we will see in nearest years. And this video I would like to based on one Facebook post that I like a lot, and this video will be based on this, and I ask you for support this video and write the comment, and also I will let the link for this post in the description box down below. On Facebook, please comment, share, and press like, and social media also matters a lot if we speak out loud about Ukraine, because future of my country is decided right now, and what we all want, just live in our hometowns and work, just normal living, families, loved ones, work, hobbies, just live here. We don't want to move to any other places. You can see it's war, but many people continue living in Ukraine because we believe in the best and we want to stay in our country. So in this video we will talk about the history, and we'll look in different facts, why we cannot trust Putin, why we need guarantees, and maybe this video will change your mind somehow and you will support Ukraine stronger, because this is everything matters, and I completely agree with this post, and I decided to read this out loud because it is important, and this is how it should be in 21st century, and the world should react and protect Ukraine, because if not, that means like the country can grab other lands from other countries. And we also remember how in 2014 war didn't react when Russia got Crimea. And this is what we have right now. Any agreements that we made in the past didn't work, and we don't know if any agreements will be working in future. So what Ukraine needs right now is guarantees, and is Putin ready to stop the war? Does he want this? Let's remember that Putin wants all of Ukraine, and his original plan was to capture Kyiv within 3 days, and even Zelensky said that right now we don't have the power to push Russians back. So it's a huge question how this war will over, what means victory, what means peace deal, what is victory, come back to borders of 1991. So I have many questions, and no one knows how it will over. And let's read this text. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and share this text, and share this video, because it's information very important, and this is how it actually should be, and this war should never have started if we have a normal neighbor and without imperialist ambitions. So guys, let's start. This is the text from Facebook page Super Democracy, and let's read out loud and discuss. So, Ukraine-Russia war. A new deal cannot end the war and bring lasting peace. The war will not end as long as Putin is in power. For 3 years now, Ukraine has faced the daily horror of drone and missile attacks, targeting apartment buildings, hospitals, and power generator, to inflict the maximum pain on innocent civilians because of Vladimir Putin, who started the war. No place in Ukraine is safe. Putin is of Cold War generation, and the same successfully proven methods must be applied against Putin. no negotiations, continued sanctions and isolations. See the video now. All the links that in the post I also add in the description box, so please check it and watch. It's very useful information. And Putin can only be defeated militarily or forced into submission by the most severe sanctions. The US should side completely with Ukraine because of morality, previous agreements in support of international law, and enormous financial benefits. Key points. Ukraine acted admirably and responsibly, making sacrifices for war nuclear de-escalation, and gave up all its nuclear weapons with the expectation the US would protect Ukraine's independence and sovereignty in existing borders under the Budapest Memorandum of Security Assurances in 1994. Thus, this refers to pre-2014 borders. Second, 2. Too many actions behind the screen. Oh, здравствуй. Two, full NATO membership is the only proven security assurance. All written agreements and pledges have been broken and failed. Peacekeepers are unrealistic. 3. No new negotiations are necessary. Everything has already been agreed. In 1954, Russia confirmed that Crimea was part of Ukraine by formal decree. A fair public referendum was held in Crimea and the majority vote that Crimea should be part of Ukraine. In 1981, Ukraine's borders were internationally recognized and accepted, including Crimea. By the way, the international law was broken in 2014, as already mentioned, and we also have the word react, and a little bit about Crimea. It was actually economy right that Ukraine will be in Ukraine because there was no breach, and Crimea needs somehow a water supply system, so it was back then, which breach and how they supplied. And after Second World War, all these economic questions covered Crimea, so covered Ukraine for Crimea. All this restoration after Second World War and different things. So anyway, previous agreements, international law and democratic vote must not now be voided by war and called unrealistic. 4. The 20% of land in dispute has most of Ukraine's natural gas, the highest concentration of essential mining resources, and it's critical for Ukraine's economy and survival. Russia has now seized 70% of Ukraine's $26 trillion total mineral wealth, according to a February 18, 2025 report in the Eurasian Times. This also includes rare earths essential for civilian technology and military needs. 5. Crimea and the Sea of Azov provide a necessary physical booster against future Russian aggression, as it would be highly advantageous for Russia to take the entire Black Sea coast away from Ukraine. By the way, let's remember in 2022, in July, we signed the grain agreement, and we can support other countries with Ukrainian grain, and also later we made the sea drones, and these drones target underwater Russians' different warships. So right now Russia is not coming very close to the coast, so this is the way how we can support other countries, let's say. And some just adding. So 6. Putin is a war criminal and murders of so many, even his own people. See the video 4. Paul Warburg states, the failure of the world to understand early how evil Hitler was resulted in so many unnecessary deaths, so too it's with Putin. 7. Putin has broken every agreement and cannot be trusted. By the way, before we can say that Putin is acting the same like Hitler. We will read this more later. So 7. Putin has broken every agreement and can be trusted. It's a complete waste of time and morality repugnant to bring a war criminal to any new negotiations. So also let's remember how Putin traveled to Mongolia and in August 2024, and nothing happened to him, no arrest, nothing. So okay. 8. Land for peace. Ceasefire will simply allow Russia to consolidate gains and continue to build military assets to attack Ukraine even more viciously in future, especially if the West were foolish enough to ease sanctions to a supposed peace. The status quo is unacceptable for both sides. Many believe Putin will never be satisfied with only 20% of Ukraine, and that Putin will attack Ukraine again when he feels capable of victory regardless of whatever agreements or treaties he has signed. Putin is a problem. There will be no peace with Putin in power. If you do nothing else, watch this short video. Again, the link in the description box. Now negotiated peace is possible. What deal can Ukraine make with Putin? Putin refused to accept Ukraine's independence and will constantly seek to topple Ukraine government. Moreover, if Russia is 100% wrong and completely unjustified in its war, why should Ukraine be pressured to make concessions simply out of political expediency and convenience? Morality, justice, and previous agreements are being completely ignored. Yeah, actually, I know it's not the best weather to do this video, but it's much better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be. Oh, anyway, stay here. Misha. Why should Ukraine, the victim, be asked for a repayment? Why isn't Russia asked to pay war reparations? The leader of free world must have the strength and morality to seek this resolution. There will be no peace without justice. It's not unrealistic to restore Ukrainians' pre-2014 borders. What is unrealistic is to believe Putin's dictatorship can continue much longer, considering the many associations of Russian people allegedly ordered by Putin and severe damage now done to Russia's economy. Russia faced hyperinflation, bank failures, and very little civilian manufacturing and services. Putin's Russia might well collapse for the same reason that the Soviet Union failed: incompetent bureaucratic management, overextensions and prioritization of the military, and the containment policies of the West. The collapse of the Soviet Union brought freedom and independence for so many. In the confusion and disarray after the economic collapse of modern-day Russia or successful insurrection against Putin, Ukraine will retake its land. Thus, sanctions might be threatened to financially weaken Putin's war capability and incite greater public anger against the war. So what I can say, the sanctions that was in 2022, I think starting working this year or even last year. I don't know how to defeat Russia only economy and militarily. There is no chance. We already tried many agreements, even Zelensky signed in 2019, and many Minsk agreements. It just doesn't work. Putin, who can stop Putin, really? This is the question in my mind. Who? People, we can speak about everything, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care in his bunker. So, clear distinctions must be made between a ceasefire and conditions for a lasting peace. Only NATO direct involvement or stronger, more effective sanctions have the best hope. Tragically, regardless of the number of innocent killed and cities destroyed, NATO will not intervene. Thus, the preeminent questions now become: under what conditions may sanctions be lifted against Russia? What must Ukraine receive in exchange for any rare earths or other natural resources deal? We have 5 conditions which must be met for a lasting peace. Peace cannot be achieved in 24 hours or even 6 months simply by applying pressure to the path of least resistance. To freeze the status quo, to reward Putin with land for war atrocities, is an offensive against humanity and God. So many allegations of internationally killing and torturing civilians, rape, taking children, and looting cannot be ignored by a civilized world. All those accused of war crimes must stand trial in Hague and be prevented from committing further atrocities. See the Kyiv Independence War Crime Investigations, the link again down below in the description box. Will we learn nothing from history and let history repeat itself? Could World War II have ended with negotiations, freezing the status quo, and given Hitler all the land taken in war? Remember that it was attempted in the Munich Agreement between Neville Chamberlain and Hitler. Germany was allowed to annex a portion of Czechoslovakia. Chamberlain stated that he had achieved a peace for our time. Hitler said that piece of paper is of no significance whatsoever. World War II started soon thereafter. By the way, Hitler first annexed Austria the same way as the Crimea. He just took all of it, and later part of Czechoslovakia, and you know what's happened next. So the same doing Putin, completely the same reasons as Hitler have. So it's just a terrorist state, and they did the same war crimes. They did crazy things here near Kyiv, in Bucha and Mariupol. Unfortunately, I would like to post more and add more, but we all know how the social media, Instagram, writing, it's a sensitive content. I also tried this a couple of times in YouTube, and it's influenced my views, and so that's why what I can do, just read the text, and you can follow the links and Google to see what Russia did to my country. Crimea must remain part of Ukraine, as the Sea of Azov provides physical barrier against further Russian aggression, and an essential waterway for Ukraine commerce. More than half of Ukrainians' food exports go to lower-income countries, predominantly in Africa and the Middle East. This is what I mentioned since 2022, which agreement we signed in summer, and always Ukraine was named as a breadbasket for Europe. So right now we see what's happened with the war, occupation, and for demand many land we need around 30 years, because we work square meters by square meters, and now I mention only the areas, the occupied areas, but how much land we have in occupation, how much work ahead, what's also about our ecology and food, and so many questions. So okay, next, by returning illegally annexed Crimea, Russia can control the Sea of Azov, even if Ukraine should retake all its lost eastern land. Are we to say now that previous agreements, international law, and democratic vote can be voided by war? Other dictators and terrorist groups would like to answer to this question. There can be no peace without first establishing justice. Should we condemn these crimes against humanity, more wars will happen. The majority of the world should collectively agree on the resolution of Ukraine-Russia war, and then those conclusions be implemented by world's leaders. This is the idea behind super democracy, voting to achieve a worldwide consensus. Express your opinion on the original and share, so we can get a total count on the original post. This post takes an unbiased assessment on the facts and draws just moral conclusions. There is no substitute for taking the time to understand and then to have the courage to implement the best, most comprehensive, lasting solution. Those that would pressure Ukraine to give up only 20% of its land have any idea of the complexes and realities. This 20% of land has most of Ukraine's natural gas and the highest concentration of vulnerable mining resources. This area is essential for Ukraine's economy and survival. The disputes regions are not barren, inhabiting wastelands. See the video for the further information and more of Putin's motives to attack Ukraine. Again, the links in the description box down below. What would be the status and treatment for Ukrainians given under permanent occupation? Already there are reports of Russians moving into homes, and they are fled in haste, with most of Ukraine's life's possessions remaining. How can Ukraine tell its citizens that their homes and their possessions are now surrendered and given to Russians? There are so many Ukrainians waiting to go back to their homes and land. Words and papers documents have become meaningless. What good were the Budapest Memorandum, numerous Minsk Agreement, and Russian-Ukrainian friendship treaties? Russia signed the Budapest Memorandum and has now broken it the most egregious, horrific manner possible without consequence. On the contrary, Russia is the proposed reward for breaking the agreement. Let's not forget, Moscow said it was simply Western hysteria to think that Russia would invade Ukraine. How can anyone think Russia will adhere to any new negotiations? In a televised interview, President Nixon commented about a conversation he had with Manlio Brosio, former Secretary General of NATO, who served six years in Moscow. Brosio stated, "I know the Russians. They are liars. They are great actors. They are cheaters and they lie, because they consider it's their duty to do so. You cannot trust them." Actually, I heard this from many people speaking about Russia this way. 4. The link also in the description box. Paul Warburg states, US intelligence had a psychological assessment of Vladimir Putin that was very disturbing, and it basically said this: Putin can have his way with president and Western leaders because they are not used to dealing with somebody who is good at lying and who doesn't care how much he lies. 5. Vladimir Karamazov states, Vladimir Putin is not just an authoritarian ruler. He is not just a dictator. He is not just a corrupt ruler. He is a murderer in a very literal sense of this world. 6. With the link also. Understand that it is not a battle over eastern boundary of Ukraine. Russian soldiers did advance on the capital, Kyiv. Ukraine claims ceremonial parade uniforms were brought to Kyiv, expecting a quick victory. Do you think that intention has changed or only been delayed? That is what I said. Putin wants to have all over Ukraine. And yes, we found in the tank their parade uniforms because they thought we are waiting for them, and some of their tanks here near Michael's Monastery. And I remember Independence Day in 2022, we brought all the destroyed tanks to Khrushchev Street because they were dreaming to drive in a tank in the Khrushchev Street, and actually they did it, but in different way. Putin called the collapse of USSR empire the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the century. Do you think his wars now are not an attempt to reconstitute the Soviet empire? A leaked documents revealed Putin had a plan to take over Belarus after Ukraine. Listen to their own words. Professor Gerdes explains why any peace deal cannot work. The link. It's not just Ukraine. Listen to the Helsinki Commission. Link. Listen to a Russian youth who would like to join the army so he can torture and kill people. Also link down below. What did Euromaidan and Revolution of Dignity show us? Even if the Kyiv government were to make a deal with Russia, it doesn't mean that the Ukrainian people would accept it. The Ukrainian military has cut bureaucratic delays and inefficiencies with a significant amount of funding coming directly from the public to localized military units. The Ukrainian people will never accept that their original brothers are lost forever and the sacrifice of their bravest defenders have been in vain. Would we have the situation where NATO UN peacekeepers were protecting the land a non-NATO nation sees through the war atrocities and fighting against the country, seeking NATO membership and only trying to get its own land back? The US has said they will not apply any peacekeepers to Ukraine. President Zelensky has said at least 1.5 million peacekeepers would be necessary. So, what chance does this proposal have for long-term effective implementation? What would have happened if Russia had overthrown the Ukrainian government? Wouldn't Russia act as they have in the past by outlawing the Ukrainian language and attempting to destroy all Ukrainian culture, heritage, and distinctiveness? This is a war not only against Ukrainian independence, but against Ukraine itself. Listen to a very insightful YouTuber, Evgenia from Ukraine, link below. World news media largely ignores the daily horror, death, and destruction of all of Ukraine faces. Social media demonetize those that show these horrors. See Tanya Fiona's Telegram channel, that's me, and YouTube you are watching now, to see these war photos and videos. Yeah, I post them a lot in Telegram channel, sometimes to Instagram, because it's a sensitive content. I don't know, I cannot post video or photos here, just maybe some house, but so a link below. When civilians are internationally targeted, the world can stop and must stop it. The sanctions are starting to work now. They must remain in full force and straightened until the first three conditions are met and not be whittled away through inept diplomacy. All prisoners of war are set free and returned. Russia recognized Ukraine's 1991 borders, including Crimea. All those accused of war crimes are brought to trial in The Hague. Russia agrees to pay war damages to Ukraine. Ukraine is given full NATO membership, or let's say any other military alliance, but we need guarantees. This is the only way peace can be restored, and peace not only for Ukraine, but for all of Russian neighbors under threat, and food security for those most vulnerable. Ukraine cannot consider any natural resource deal without full NATO membership, because without it, Ukraine's independence and sovereignty is at risk. As stated, NATO membership is the only proven security assurance. What good is any deal if one party ceases to exist and cannot fulfill its obligations? Should the United States reward Putin with land for his war atrocities and betray its previous agreements to protect Ukraine, more conflict and war will result. We have no excuse. We know history. May God give us strength. Like and share. However, if our leaders fail us, then people must act. Support Ukraine according to your values. You can choose defense, land mine removal, medical aid, or rebuilding. And the link for United 24. And that's it. So guys, that is really how it should be in a civilized war, that there should not be any war, and what's happened in 21st century with rape and torturing. Because yeah, I know, I traveled with the media for deoccupied regions. I heard what people said, and this was many investigations, and Ukraine is open for any foreign media and any witnesses. People came and watched this by their own eyes, and we have there many videos from CCTV camera in Bucha and Irpin, what Russian did also. But imagine how much information, and we don't know exact amount of people was happening in Mariupol, because it's still under Russian control. So, what I can say? This is for today. We're hoping for the best, and sometimes it's hard to realize really that we all live in the war times. Even like right now, there's no air siren. People walk with their dogs, with their family, walking after working days, and but it's still war, and we don't know what to expect, even like tomorrow or today, because after the attack on Moscow and Moscow region, I see already threatened about that Russians want to send back rationing. So I have no idea what's happened this week or next week. But anyway, without our attacks, Russia's still killing us, and don't have plan to stop. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and thank you for your support, buying me coffees, matchas, commenting and put the likes on this video. And as I said, that internet is very sensitive of truth, is very sensitive which realities we live right now, and I cannot add photos, videos for this. And this video thank you for listening to me, and I hope you will share this video and press like, and also the link for the post is down below. So thank you again, and I see you very soon. And it's time to sunset soon. We go to walk a little bit and post this video today. Thank you for supporting. Misha saying bye bye, Tanya saying bye bye, and keep in touch, guys. Thank you. Okay, guys, I decided to walk a little bit around. You know, to speak on the camera for me is the way easier than to read the text. I do always have a problem reading out loud because I lost the intonation, some emotions. When I speak, that's fine, you know, I don't care how many camera I have, and like I can be like the same like my normal life on camera. But when I read it out loud, oh my god, it's not my voice, it's not my intonation. I sounds very strange, so I hope you can listen to me, and if not, please read the text and share this in the social media. Believe me, I did my best. So but if you hear till the end and let's just walk a little bit in the center. I love the city center because people walking their dogs, nice weather, people walking, and I see one guy playing traditional songs behind the Russian tanks and actually our cars as well. So let's have a short walk.
Швидше. Бачите, це